Hello everybody, hello YouTube, hello art history enthusiasts and visual culture aficionados. It's me again, Miss M, and I'm back with yet another video. This time I'm going to talk about something a little strange, or it might not be really truly strange, but it might seem strange to you. We'll see. We'll see. As always, I'm starting out at my homepage for my channel just to let you know that you're in the right place. And just to sort of give you an overview of, you know, what to expect if you do decide to hang out and subscribe and see my other videos. Currently I have 9, 10, 15, 17. Right now, as of right this moment when I'm making this video, I have 17 videos on mostly art-related subjects. Actually, no, exclusively art-related subjects. What am I saying? Mostly. But today I'm going to be making this video about a movie that has a very serious reputation, and a movie that is considered a classic, and a movie that I have been avoiding all of my life, but that I decided to finally watch because I felt it was time. It was the right time to do that. And what movie am I talking about? This one, The Exorcist. And the date given here on Internet Movie Database is 1973. It's rated R. I really don't know why, but it's rated R. The runtime is listed here as 2 hours and 2 minutes. Okay. That's it. That's a long movie. I watched the whole thing. And when I said I've been avoiding this movie all my life, I have been avoiding this movie all my life because I was told that it was terribly scary, that it was a horror movie, and that it was, I guess if it's a horror movie, then that means it must be horrifying. Okay. And so I avoided it because I don't like scary movies. I don't like to be horrified or terrified or scared or whatever. But I knew that one day I would have to watch the movie. And this, I mean, I've been knowing this for years. I've known this for years and years and years, that I would have to eventually just get over it and watch the movie, and just to see what everybody's talking about and has been talking about apparently since 1973. So I did. I found a copy of the movie, and I watched it, and I wasn't horrified. I wasn't terrified. I wasn't scared. Is that normal? Am I okay? Somebody please tell me. But I watched it, and I knew I had to watch it. I knew that life would take me in a direction where I would have to eventually watch this movie, and I did. And I have so many thoughts. I have so many questions. I have so many observations. I have so many things that I believe are going on that I don't believe have been discussed in any other place, and that's why I'm making this video. Let's see. So this is the IMDb page for The Exorcist. It gives you a little, very quick synopsis here. When a 12-year-old girl is possessed by a mysterious entity, her mother seeks the help of 2 priests to save her. Now, it was directed by somebody named William Friedkin, and the writer of the movie is the same. I guess the screenplay was written by the same person who wrote the novel for the movie. That person was named William Peter Blatty. Okay, remember that name, William Peter Blatty. Please remember that name. Now, if you want to watch the trailers, look at the photos. There are 200 of them here on IMDb. Please feel free. I will leave this link and a couple of more in the description, as I always do with my videos. I always cite my sources. Don't ever let it be said that I don't cite my sources, because that's I would never. I would never ever not cite my sources. I'm saying that for wow, my computer just it was that. Does that qualify as a jump scare? What my computer just did without me trying to do that, but doesn't matter. And I'm scrolling down to the actors who played all these various roles in the movie, and each of these people has an important role. It's not like, there's just the main cast and then everybody else is just not worth mentioning. No, every character in this movie plays an absolutely integral part in the larger picture of the story. These characters and the people who played them, they're the moving parts of a whole, and that whole, the entirety, is basically a machine that cannot work without if it's missing any of these parts, right? And some of them are very, if you've only heard about The Exorcist, you've seen pictures of Linda Blair in her makeup and what have you, and maybe this guy, Father Merrin, and that's about it. If you just look at the posters or the promotional art for the movie, if you didn't know better, you wouldn't even know that Ellen Bernstein plays the mother if you don't go and see the movie. But again, all of these people are extremely important. This person, Father Karras, I'm going to concentrate on him quite a bit as I do my videos. Yeah, videos, plural, for The Exorcist. I don't know how many I'm going to do, but it's going to be this one and probably at least one or two or maybe three more. I don't know at this point. But it's not going to be like my Shining series where it's going to go on forever and ever and ever. But, this is going to take some doing. The Exorcist is an extremely important movie. It's considered a classic. Not just a cult classic, but a classic for a reason. So today I'm going to kind of do an overview and just my general reaction and my questions that I have that I don't know if I'll be able to answer. But this guy, like I said, Karras, they don't concentrate on him nearly as much as they should in the promotional materials for the movie. And I wonder why. I really do wonder why. You always see this image in the movie poster of, I think that's Father Merrin walking up to the house, but you don't see Father Karras in the promotional materials. But anyway, this is also, so that was the IMDb page. This is the Wikipedia article for The Exorcist. Please do read through this because it's informative. There's the plot. If you don't like surprises, you can look at the plot. I'm just reading something very quickly. Okay, I think I watched this one, the director's cut. That is what I believe I watched. So whether or not that makes a difference, I don't know. But here we are. I will read this first paragraph. The Exorcist is a 1973 American supernatural horror film directed by William Friedkin and written for the screen by William Peter Blatty, based on his 1971 novel of the same name. The film stars Ellen Bernstein, Max von Sydow, Lee J. Cobb, Kitty Wynn, Jack McGowran, Jason Miller, and Linda Blair. It is the first installment in the Exorcist film series and follows the demonic possession of a young girl and her mother's attempt to rescue her through an exorcism conducted by a pair of Catholic priests. Maybe I should say right now, as I talk about this movie, whether in this video or any subsequent ones that I make, spoiler alerts. I'm gonna spoil the movie if you haven't seen it already. So there's that. The book was a bestseller. Blatty, the author, chose, I guess, look at this. Despite the book's bestseller status, Blatty, who produced, and Friedkin, his choice for director, had difficulty casting the film. How odd. But this deals with a very popular subject. This movie, the supernatural, the occult. Okay? That's partially why it's so popular, why it's become a classic. Because people just can't get enough of this. Even to this day, you see all those crappy shows on TV, those fake ghost hunting shows on television that that are brought to us thanks to this film. Those fake. This is my opinion, and I have a right to it. Those fake ghost hunting shows, those fake exorcism shows on TV, they're still made, they're still produced. People still have an interest in that, especially in October, of course, the month of Halloween. But that's not going away. That's not going away anytime soon. Let me keep it moving. Rotten Tomatoes. For this classic 1973 horror film, the tomato meter gives it 83%, and the audience score is 87%, so just 3 percentage points shy of an A. Shameful. This movie definitely deserves an A. It deserves an A+. I would give it at least a 95, but the internet is what it is. So I'm going to include this in the description, a link to Rotten Tomatoes too. If you like The Exorcist, this is what you also might like, according to Rotten Tomatoes. Do I like all of these movies? Well, this one for sure. The Silence of the Lambs, yeah, I might do a video on that one too, because there's so much to say. But anyway, so that's the tomato meter. Okay, now I've got a couple of articles that I want you to look at in your preparation, your reading list, your reading materials for my upcoming videos on this topic. This is from Screen Rant, and it is called, the title of the article is Why the Exorcist is Still One of the Scariest Movies Ever Made. And then here it says, The Exorcist has changed the face of horror as we know it today. Here's why The Exorcist is still one of the scariest movies ever made. And this was published fairly recently, a couple of years ago in 2020, November 2020, so they were still kind of feeding off of that Halloween spirit. October had ended, but November had begun when they published this article. So I'm not going to read this whole thing. I'll scroll through it to show you just how much of it there is. But so I can't just read all of this, but like I said, this is your reading material to prepare for my quote-unquote lectures. So get yourself ready. And I'm going to do another article too. Again, The Exorcist, 10 creepy details from the scariest movie ever made. I'm not going to go through all of these either. There's 10 of them. Some of them are creepy. Some of them are not so creepy, if you ask me. But that's that. So I'm just going to do 2 articles today. That's, not a huge number of links like I usually do. But this one, Why the Exorcist is Still One of the Scariest Horror Movies Ever Made. My. And again, I wasn't scared. I wasn't horrified. I watched, and yeah, there were a couple of little surprises, but they weren't, I didn't have any nightmares. I didn't feel unsafe. Like when I was younger, if I saw a scary movie, I would feel unsafe. I would have to lock the door and things like that. But now? No. No, 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 no. But anyway, let me read this first paragraph of this and let's get going. Why is it still one of the scariest horror movies ever made? What makes that so? William Friedkin's 1973 supernatural horror, The Exorcist, remains one of the scariest horror movies ever made. Based on the eponymous novel by William Peter Blatty, the film has altered the face of horror as we know it today, owing to the fact that the film's insidiousness emerges from its vision, which is rooted in genuine terror. This is solidified by a recent ranking of the scariest horror movies by Rotten Tomatoes, in which The Exorcist is placed at number 1, cementing it as a movie viewing experience that lingers amid the crevices of human memory. I just showed you Rotten Tomatoes. I'll show you again. 83 and 87. Okay. I'm not saying a word. When you point out inconsistencies, you become very unpopular very quickly. So I'm just going to keep my mouth shut about that. Now, The Exorcist follows a simple yet effective narrative structure that is familiar precisely because of how many stories have copied it. Innocent child Regan, Linda Blair, starts exhibiting strange behavior that later culminates into an agonizing stretch of demonic possession. Good heavens. The directness of it has been the inspiration for countless films in the horror genre, including The Omen, the Amityville Horror, Stigmata, and to some extent The Shining. Well. What do we have here? I wouldn't be surprised if Stanley Kubrick was inspired by The Exorcist. There are markings of that everywhere. So of course, I'm not gonna go through this whole thing, but it's a good article. Okay, it's worth reading, in my opinion. It kind of gives you an overview of the story. You're not going to take away anything monumental from this article, like most of all of the others that you'll find on the internet. Whether it's an essay, whether it's an article like this in a magazine meant for promoting things, like movies, there's not going to be any monumental revelations or epiphanies. There's that face again. It uses terrifying subliminal imagery. Well, yeah. Yeah. Real life, this is it. This is the part that made me angry. Real life tragedies befell the cast of The Exorcist. Really? Really, they gotta go there? But, alright. Alright. Yeah, so take a look at this. And this one, like I said, I was gonna look at this article. The Exorcist. 10 creepy details from the scariest movie ever made. I think I'm just going to go through like one or two. I don't know. We'll see. The Lost Diaries from a True Life Exorcism. This is the one that caught my eye immediately. Not just because it's the first one, but it really stood out. I think it's significant. Friedkin says Blatty set out to write a non-fiction account of an exorcism that happened to a 13-year-old boy at a psychiatric clinic in 1949, but had to dramatize the story when it became too difficult to get specific details of what happened. Those who did speak to Blatty requested that the character be changed to a girl to help protect the identity of the boy who actually experienced the possession. Friedkin says that child grew up having no memory of the incident and went on to an otherwise stable life. Friedkin said he recently retired from a long career at, of all places, NASA. The filmmaker never met the man, but spoke with family members who described telekinetic activity surrounding the child during his apparent possession. Okay, let's not get into that. But this is interesting to me. This last part of this first sentence. They had to dramatize the story when it became too difficult to get specific details of what happened. Interesting. Very interesting. Number 2, why would the Catholic Church help The Exorcist? And it sure did. They even had a real priest as one of the actors. So the Catholic Church, according to this, was not opposed to the creation or the viewing or the whatever of this movie. I mean, make of that what you will, but in my opinion, just my opinion, I'm just going to ask a question. Don't you find that suspicious? I do. I do. Okay. Most of the people at the highest level of the church accepted it totally because the Roman ritual of exorcism is still in the New Testament, said Friedkin. The director claims church officials later told him they credited the film for inspiring new applicants to be priests and nuns. After all, the priests are the heroes of the story, are they really? I'm going to tell you right now, won't leave you guessing. And, you know, I'm not doing a series of videos because I'm trying to get views or whatever. No, because I have a lot to say. That's why. But I'm not going to leave you guessing. No. This, what I just read, after all, the priests are the heroes of the story. No. Absolutely not. Okay? Period. The priests are not the heroes of the story. I can't emphasize that enough. I could say it over and over and over again, or figure out different ways of saying that same thing over and over and over and over, but it would still be the same thing. They're not the heroes of the story. This is not that kind of review. This is not that kind of discussion about this movie. Oh. This is not what we're doing here. I haven't researched this very deeply partially because I don't want anything to contaminate my viewing of the movie. Now, I've looked up articles like this one, and yes, I've looked at the Wikipedia page. I certainly have. But I haven't looked for any essays or books or anything like that claim to try to understand the movie, because I'm afraid of what I'll see. That's what I'm scared of. Reading essays or analyses by scholars or film critics or film theorists or people like that who have their own opinions about it. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't have their own opinions. Of course they should. But I'm worried that if I read those opinions, then it will, again, contaminate my own before I've even really had a chance to form one. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's my reasoning for that. I will read some things in the course of studying this. But this is going to be my, I don't know what I should call it. This is going to be my, I don't want to use the wrong word, but fail-safe, or I don't know. This is going to be how I know whether or not to keep reading somebody's essay. If they say that the priests are the heroes of the story, I'm going to stop reading. This one I kept reading because, again, I haven't done much research. This is, oh, for goodness sake, I haven't done much research. Sorry about that. I had a pop-up. I had a pop-up up here in the corner. I don't know where it came from. But I haven't done very much research. And I found these two articles today, right now, right before I set out to make this video. And that's it. That's about all of the really in-depth reading I've done, which is nothing. Absolutely nothing. But as I have my own opinion, if I see any review, any essay, any analysis that say that the priests are the good guys, or the heroes rather, then I'm going to just stop reading. I'm going to throw it out, and I'm going to say, yeah, I have nothing to see here. I can't emphasize that enough. They're not the heroes, especially one of them. The one that I mentioned over here when I was on IMDb, this one is interesting. I don't know if he's a hero. Maybe he's an anti-hero, or maybe he's just a very interesting character, but I'll just put it this way. I like his character. Father Damien Karras. I like him, the character. This one up here, the old guy, Father Marin, no, I don't like him at all. But I wouldn't call either of them heroes. This horrible thing just keeps, I guess I'm getting all kinds of messages. But, and it keeps knocking me off my train of thought. But after all, the priests are the heroes of the story. No, they're not. And the message of the film is that there are some matters of the soul that science and medicine can't fix. I'll highlight that too. That's an extremely loaded statement. And the problem is, if there is a problem, the problem is that the statement doesn't know how loaded it is. Okay? And the message of the film is that there are some matters of the soul that science and medicine can't fix. Science and medicine aren't even trying to fix that. Okay, whoever wrote this sentence, no disrespect to you, but science and medicine aren't even attempting to fix matters of the soul. And you see that in the movie. You see that in the movie. Again, I'll go into that in other videos. Science and medicine are not concerned with your soul. They never have been. Well, I shouldn't say never have been, but as we know them today, as we know of modern science and modern medicine, they don't care about your soul, and they never will. In their current incarnation. Maybe in the old days, maybe in ancient times. But that's long gone, if it was ever there to begin with. I'll keep going. This is interesting too. Billy Graham, who was not a Catholic, denounced it from the pulpit and said the devil is in every frame of this film. This makes me just like it even more. Let me say that again. This makes me like the movie even more. Billy Graham said that the devil is in every frame of this film. Billy Graham's a fool. There, I said it. You heard me. Billy Graham was, I think he's is he alive? I don't care. I'm not sure and I don't care. But he said the devil is in every frame of this film. Well, again, he's ignorant. He was ignorant. The cardinal in Boston loathed it and wanted it banned. Oh, dear. Oh, shameful. Shame. The ignorance. Billy Graham, I don't know if it was his ignorance speaking when he said this, or was it very deliberate and very calculated? Same thing with the cardinal in Boston. Did they know what they were saying when they said this that I just read? If they didn't know what they were saying, shame on them for saying it. If they did know what they were saying, shame on them for saying it. Either way, it's no good. Either way, it's no good. I didn't know I would be this opinionated in this video, but here I am. I'm coming for Billy Graham. I'm coming for the Boston Cardinal at the time. Oh dear. What does the Exorcist filmmaker believe? I don't know and I don't care, so let's skip that. Finding the Exorcist demon child. Nope. What else? Carving out the snout. Oh dear. No. Another changing. The voice actress. This story. this makes me intensely dislike the person who did the demonic voice in the movie, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah, sure. Does Friedkin think the set... Oh, again with the... See? This is what sells the movie, I guess. This is part of the promotional activities. To this day, I mean, even to this day, they still want people to go and watch it. You know, somebody's making money off of views. So, of course, they write articles like this that they have little tidbits of stuff, like I said, that could be stretched out into an explanation or an analysis that could actually help people, that could actually educate people about things. But no, they stop short of actually educating anybody, and they just go for this crazy fluff. Does Friedkin think the set was cursed? Get on with yourself. Unsettling subliminal messages buried within. Oh, come on. So, but read this anyway. It's still a good article. Even though it annoyed me, I'm still glad I read it. Now, back to this, the Exorcist film. Again, for me, whenever I look up a movie, I always go right to the plot. So and these plots are pretty darn good on Wikipedia. They do an awesome job whenever they're talking about any movie of summarizing it pretty darn well, or writing down the plot of the movie in an understandable way. But there's always something missing. That's why you have to go and see the movie to really understand what's going on, and or to see what they left out of this, and maybe ponder as to why they left it out. That's at least how I feel. Now, like I said, when I discuss this movie in depth, I'm going to discuss it probably in a way that you've never heard anybody discuss it before. Save Rob Ager. Now, I've mentioned his name a lot of times when I was doing my Shining my Shining videos, and I'm probably going to mention him again because he does really good job talking about it. He has a video on his channel about The Exorcist where he explores some alternative possibilities regarding the movie and interpreting the movie, and I will put those up in my next video that I do about this film. But, so, Rob Ager is just about the only one that I have yet seen and I'm familiar with Rob Ager because I've watched all of his Shining videos, and of course I saw some more videos, not just the Shining videos, the Exorcist videos, but he's the only one I've ever seen who does really an alternative view, and a very interesting one, and a very thought-provoking one. And I'm going to mention one of his, if not two, of his videos to do with The Exorcist in my next video, or one of the next videos discussing this movie. Something is going on in this movie that nobody wants to talk about, because it's terrible. That's the scary part. And it's not scary in a way that makes you, that makes it difficult for you to sleep at night like a child who's watched a scary show on TV. No, it's scary because of the almost willful ignorance. I'll leave it at that for now. My final link for this video. William F. Kinderman is the name of the detective who's investigating a murder that takes place in the movie The Exorcist. He's played by Lee J. Cobb. Really, really amazing actor. You probably saw him on a lot of old TV shows and a lot of old movies. This is him when he's older. But of course he's still working, he's still acting at this point in the early 1970s. And I found this from the Exorcist Wiki, and I guess this is the homepage for the Exorcist Wiki, which I will link to. In the description of this video. And I'll talk about how I feel about the sequels and the series of movies. I'm not thrilled. I'm not thrilled at all about the sequels, but, you know. Anyway, this is one of the, like I said, the movie, everybody remembers Regan. Everybody remembers this old guy, Father Merrin. And people might remember Father Karras, maybe the mother. But they hardly ever mention this guy. Yeah? William F. Kinderman. This is one of his quotes from the movie. "You know who you look like? John Garfield." Exactly. John Garfield. Body and soul. Do people ever tell you that, Father? I think he's talking to Father Karras when he says that line in the movie. So, William F. Kinderman, or Lieutenant William Kinderman, is a central character. He doesn't get a lot of screen time. For a central character, he doesn't get a whole bunch of screen time, but whatever. William F. Kinderman, or Lieutenant William Kinderman, is a central character appearing in The Exorcist and The Exorcist 3. He is portrayed by Lee J. Cobb in The Exorcist and by George C. Scott in The Exorcist 3. George C. Scott probably did a great job, but we're not talking about that movie. He's a lieutenant and homicide detective assigned to investigate and uncover the death of Burke Dennings. For the purpose, he befriends Father Damien Karras to assist him in the case with a religious perspective. Kinderman is adamant that the tragic death of Burke Dennings was no mere tragedy, but an assault. He also visits Chris MacNeil's residence to view things himself, and was of the concealed opinion that Regan was indeed not herself, and is possessed by a force potent enough to break Burke's neck and bring upon his untimely demise. Kinderman then probes the entire timeline of the exorcism and apparently apprehends that Regan wasn't guilty and the events were committed by an unexplainable entity. Okay, so the first thing I did, this is a character that isn't, he's a central character, okay, whatever, doesn't get a lot of screen time. But the reason I'm featuring him in this video, and I think I'm going to use his picture as my thumbnail, is because he's one of the things that isn't readily discussed about this movie. Him, his role, what he's trying to accomplish. I don't believe, as you see here, I don't think he's only trying to accomplish what they say he's trying to accomplish here. He knows right away that Regan didn't kill anybody. And this is a character who knows much, much, much more than he's letting on. And he seeks out Damien Karras for a very specific reason. He probably knows more than he's letting on. And he's a character, this Kinderman character, is one that's not discussed nearly enough, in my opinion, or focused on nearly enough. He's the catalyst for what ends up happening in the movie. Why is he the catalyst? Why couldn't it be somebody else? Why couldn't it be Regan's mother, Chris, who sort of set in motion the events that lead to, again, the conclusion of the movie? What ends up happening? I don't know. First thing I did when I saw this name was I looked it up. Kinderman. In German, the word Kinderman means child man or man-child. Or I don't know. So, I think I'll go with the one, that I first said, child man. So this is a very inquisitive person, not just because he's a detective, but his name alone kind of tells you that he has the curiosity of a child. He knows something that he is not saying. What is that? I don't know. I'm not sure. But I think I have an idea. Anyway, is there anything else I want to say in this video regarding this film? I've introduced it, okay? I've introduced it, and I'm just looking, I'm scrolling through this. Oh, wait, there's, no. Oh, okay. So there's other characters they discuss in this Exorcist wiki. There's a lot going on here. Is this really a movie about a demonic possession? I think the answer to that question is no, it isn't. The demonic, the alleged demonic, when I say demonic, I mean in the Christian context of demons. No. No, we don't see any demons in this movie, not as they're defined in, again, the Christian context. We see spirits, or we see the result of spirits or deities exacting their will upon the physical, real world of the living human beings. But we don't see any demons. Is there a possession? Yes. Is that a bad thing? No. Are the priests the heroes? Is the mom the hero? Chris? No. I kind of don't like her either. Okay? If you've watched this movie, or if you want to try and watch this movie again, please notice, this is what I'll leave you with. And I'll come back and I'll discuss this movie more in a more organized way. And I'll pick out themes or things like that to discuss. But for now, I will leave you with this. This character, Sharon, in the movie, she's the mother, Chris McNeil. Sharon seems to be Chris's either assistant or the nanny to Regan or something along those lines. She plays a servile role to Chris and her daughter and the household, which is just Chris and her daughter. And in one shot of the movie, it's really easy to miss because it doesn't seem like it's significant at all. It doesn't seem like it means anything. But in one shot of the movie, Chris, I think, comes home from a day out or work or whatever. And she comes home, and in the kitchen, there's Sharon, her assistant, sitting at the kitchen table, eating an apple, and she's positioned behind a typewriter. Okay? And it's not something that most people will pick up on. Sharon is eating her apple and typing away. Or not really typing, she's stopped typing, she's talking with Chris in the scene. But the typewriter is there, that means she was working on it, that means she was writing something. Another place where you'll see a very prominent typewriter, much more prominent than in this movie, is the movie The Shining, Jack Torrance's typewriter. So typewriters are used for what? Writing. Automated mechanical writing. Automated writing. Or, what's it called? Spirit writing? No. But, yeah, automated writing is something that psychics do. Allegedly, they communicate with spirits, and the spirit takes control of their hand, and the hand has a pen in it, and they, this is another one of these, spiritualist things. Whether or not it's real or true, I don't know. And I'm not going to offend anybody by saying my opinion about it. But Sharon is sitting at the kitchen table behind a typewriter. Typewriters write things. And she's eating an apple. she could be eating anything else, but they put an apple in her hand for this movie. And they sat her behind a typewriter for that scene in particular. I don't know if I have to elaborate. I don't know whether or not you all are catching what I'm throwing. But apple, 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 apple. An apple is a symbol of something. Many things, actually. Many, many, many things. It's a symbol of temptation. It's a symbol of knowledge, because it's supposed to come from the tree of knowledge in the Garden of Eden. It's a symbol from Greek mythology. It's a symbol for, but in the case of this movie, they're probably focused on the apple as a symbol in the Christian context. And Sharon happens to be eating one in this scene. So, that's it. That's all I'm going to say about that. I hope I've said something. I hope I haven't just wasted your time. But, again, I will leave all of these links in the description of this video. And like I said, I'm going to try and concentrate on, in my analysis of The Exorcist, I'm going to try to concentrate on things that most people simply don't notice. Either because they really don't notice them, they really just haven't noticed them, or they don't want to notice them. It's hard to tell the difference sometimes. But anyway, thank you. At this point in the video, I will thank you. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. And also, I'll say at this point in the video, please don't forget about my giveaway. The deadline for the giveaway is this month in March. It's the 14th, I think. It's in the description. So if you want to win a little prize, please follow the directions, and hopefully you'll win a little prize. If I don't get any entrants into the giveaway, then I guess nobody's going to get any prize. But that's that. And also at this point in the video, I want to remind you to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video if you know somebody who would possibly like to see it, or any of my other ones for that matter. And until next time, when I talk about something, don't know what it's going to be, but I'm going to come back and talk at you again for some reason. Until that next video, I will go ahead and bid you bye-bye. So, bye-bye, everybody.